From the news hub here at Desawe Kanda, I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu Date. Let's bring you the headlines for the next 1 hour. Right, so coming up this evening, judge gives lawyers for the Ashanti Regional MPP chairman and state prosecution the 6th of July deadline to report on progress on plea negotiations.
Also coming up tonight, Controller and Accountant General's Department set to begin recovering student loans from thousands of beneficiaries now employed in the public service.
Also coming up later in the bulletin, with a number of countries banning under-16s from social media, should Ghana be exploring such an option? We'll give you more.
Later in business news in about 30 minutes, with a number of countries banning under-16s from social media, we're asking, should Ghana be exploring such an option?
I will also bring you the story where Public Interest and Accountability Committee inspection exposes abandoned projects, substandard work and operational bottlenecks in 3 regions. That's in business.
On the international front, U.S. lifts a naval blockade as Iran's supreme leader says President Trump made a deal out of desperation.
We'll bring you details of all these stories and more for the next 1 hour, including business, sports and entertainment. Do stay with us.
In our very first story, lawyers of the NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Entwubuesiako are hopeful that plea negotiations with the Attorney General will bear fruitful outcome after the High Court granted the parties a request to progress. Bernard Entwubuesiako has been charged with defrauding by false pretenses, forgery, authoring forged documents and money laundering in a loan deal with the Ghana Export-Imports Bank. Lord Idwasari reports.
Prosecutors allege that between 2018 and 2022, Wontumi fraudulently obtained 14.3 million Ghana cedis from Exim Bank through false pretenses, using Wontumi Farms Limited as the vehicle for the transaction. Bernard Entwubuesiako is also alleged to have presented a forged receipt to bank officials to support an additional 4 million Ghana cedis facility. Prosecutors further allege that Chairman Wontumi, Thomas Entwubuesiako, and Wontumi Farms Limited intentionally caused Exim Bank to suffer financial loss exceeding 30 million Ghana cedis in the course of the business transaction. The NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman initially pleaded not guilty to the charges preferred against him by the Attorney General. On June 5, however, he, through his lawyers, wrote to the prosecution to request the commencement of plea negotiations. In court on Thursday, June 18, Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Remsai informed the court that he had filed a notice of commencement of the plea negotiations and hence prayed the court for a 2-week adjournment. Andy Apiakubi, lead counsel for Wontumi, corroborated the Deputy Attorney General's remarks and pleaded with the court to grant the prayer. Justice Abdul Basit then directed both the prosecution and the defense to report back to the court by July 6 with the progress of the negotiations. Lawyer for Wontumi spoke after proceedings.
We are very hopeful that by the time we come to the court this next, we will have made some progress and inform the court of what the issues are and that are standing for us to play, to file our plea agreement in the court. The mood in the court in the predisposition of counsel on both sides suggests that we'll be able to reach a mutual settlement quickly for us to file and quickly and able that will bring the matter to finality.
Meanwhile, in the Summer Boy illegal mining case against Chairman Wontumi, his new lawyer, Samuel Atachia, has indicated that he would plead with the High Court to extend the date for judgment, which was initially set at July 3.
Plead with the court for that, because if you want to have fair trial and if you want our input as part of the thinking of the judge, I believe we should enlarge time so that we'll be able to do what is necessary.
Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
The Ghana Education Service is taking a firm stance against sexual misconduct in schools, insisting that the teachers found culpable will face the law and disciplinary actions. While the Ghana Education Service says student safety remains a top priority, the Parent Teachers Association is also calling for stronger preventive measures and closer collaboration between schools and parents to protect learners. Samuel Yeboah Adams reports.
The latest allegation from Bole Senior High School has reignited concerns over the effectiveness of existing reporting, monitoring and prevention systems against sexual harassment in senior high schools. In many schools across Ghana, teacher-student sexual misconduct remains a trouble issue, often overlooked despite effort to address it. The General Secretary of the National Council of Parent-Teacher Association of Ghana, Gabson Kofi Raphael, expressed frustration over what he described as weak enforcement of existing policies.
We want them to go beyond that and make sure that he goes through the full length of the disciplinary procedure and make sure that he is dismissed, released from the GES system and taken off the system. We are also calling on the GES and the Ghana Education Service that it calls for sober reflections that the system we find ourselves in clearly tells us that the GES must implement the sexual harassment guidelines now.
According to him, although parents are the primary caregivers of their children, teachers also have a role to play, hence the need for discipline and professionalism in the line of duty.
We urge our students that anytime they sense danger that they are not safe, they should report it. But that is why if the GES guidelines on sexual harassment is actually being rolled out, it will make students more assertive, to make students more vocal. It makes parents also know the role they have to play. It makes also teachers know that the boundaries that they find themselves in and the kind of things they have to do.
Meanwhile, the head of public relations at the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Fingi, explained that GES has a clear code of conduct regarding teacher-student sexual misconduct.
Part of our rules is that if you're a teacher, you cannot have carnal knowledge. You cannot have any sexual engagement. You cannot see the nakedness of a student, regardless of the age.
He explained that following the recent incident, stricter measures have been put in place to prevent a recurrence.
If you are a teacher and you are found culpable in such situation, you face potential dismissal and even some jail term when minors are involved. We encourage them to report any such advancement from their teachers or colleagues. When they are not comfortable, they should be able to report so that immediate action can be taken.
A cross-section of the public shared their views on relationships that develop between teachers and students.
GES has done a lot. They do a lot all the time by putting out information on young students not approaching their teachers or teachers not approaching their students. But then here lies the case right now. I think it's up to you, the individual, to also say no when your teacher comes to you to come and ask for something from you that way.
Teachers having affairs with students, I don't think is the best. Although it's the teacher's fault, say he's having that affair with, but sometimes it's the students who approach the teachers with those things. So
things like this, when it comes out, it puts a kind of bad image to the school first and to the teacher. Sometimes it ends up making the teacher lose his or her job.
As investigations continue, the GES says the teacher implicated in the Bole Senior High School sexual misconduct allegation remains interdicted pending the outcome of the investigations. The student is also expected to undergo guidance and counseling as part of psychosocial support.
In more news tonight, a new study by UNICEF Ghana has revealed that Ghana is investing too little, too late and unevenly in children, particularly during the critical early years of life. The report titled Unlocking Potential Early, Rebalancing Public Spending for Children in Ghana is the country's first age-based analysis of public spending on children from pregnancy through age 17.
According to the study, children aged 0 to 5 receive only 13% of public spending, despite making up about 1/3 of Ghana's child population. The findings show that while Ghana has made progress in areas such as immunization, under 5 mortality reduction, and pre-primary education, major gaps remain in nutrition, birth registration, child protection and social welfare services. UNICEF says public spending remains heavily concentrated in education, which receives 3.1% of GDP, while social protection, health and child protection sectors receive significantly less funding. The report comes as Ghana begins implementing its early childhood care and development policy.
What is really important here is that the evidence now shows that some countries have chosen to invest in early years. In Ghana, we have 73% of kids who are multidimensionally poor, and from that group, we have from 0 to 5 it's 80% who are poor. So it's actually the most vulnerable group. We need to be intentional to address that group, bring them on board, every child of that group, and we have a very good opportunity in that through the recently launched ECCD policy. It will bring a lot of results for children of Ghana and also for the human capital of Ghana and the prosperous and peaceful society for Ghana.
Researchers estimate that a comprehensive child-focused investment package costing about 7.2% of Ghana's GDP could eliminate child poverty within 3 years. The investment could also prevent up to 18,000 premature child deaths, significantly reduce child stunting, and ensure full vaccination coverage nationwide. In addition, the package is expected to improve school readiness among children, laying a stronger foundation for learning and long-term national development.
The Comptroller and Accountant General's Department is set to begin recovering student loans from thousands of fisheries who are now employed in the public service. The move, which will affect about 4,000 graduates, is aimed at ensuring that the sustainability of the student loan scheme and making funds available for future generations of students is achieved.
Ghanaian students, the student loan scheme has been a lifeline, easing the financial burden on families and providing hope for access to higher education. However, as demand for the facility continues to grow, concerns have emerged about the fund's long-term sustainability. Speaking to a cross-section of tertiary students in Accra, the Chief Executive Officer of the Student Loan Trust, Dr. Sajida Shiraz, stressed the need for stronger partnerships and innovative funding strategies to keep the program afloat.
I'm happy to say that we have disbursed 127 million Ghana cedis in enhanced loans directly to 46,679 students across public and private institutions in Ghana. And by doing so, we have effectively ended the cycle of failed full year disbursements that had for far too long undermined public confidence.
The Comptroller and Accountant General also revealed that 4,000 former beneficiaries have been identified on the government payroll.
We have already identified over 4,000 beneficiaries on the government payroll through the collaboration with the trust. And in the coming days, we will engage the trust to agree to the modalities of implementing these deductions.
Let's now go to Parliament, where the Committee on Local Government and Rural Development has tasked all 29 metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies in the Greater Accra region to invest in preventive measures before the rainy season rather than waiting until the rains set in before taking action. Chairperson of the committee, Queensta Mame Pokuya-Soya, explained that a communique will be issued to ensure MMDCEs understand that issues relating to flooding must be treated with the urgency they require. George Queenan reports.
All 29 metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies (MMDAs) in the Greater Accra region were required to justify how they had utilized funds from the District Assembly's Common Fund and the Disability Fund, as well as outline measures being taken to address flooding in their respective jurisdictions. From Ayawasu East and Ayawasu North to Tamwa and Lankwantanan, Assembly executives explained how drains and streams had been dredged and they silted to allow for the free flow of water. There were also concerns about disparities in the disbursement of the District Assembly's Common Fund.
Challenge we still have which the investment in that is not really feasible, is Ramsar. So we have communities 12, 11, 10, 6 within my metro. If you stretch to Tema West, communities 5, 2, and 3 see under distress because of the encroachment on the Ramsar.
Ranking member of the committee, Francis Asensu-Bwachi, noted the need for assemblies to prioritize the welfare of persons living with disabilities.
There are 3 things that we should focus on. First of all, value for money. Are we receiving the expected quality and quantity of work for the resources invested? Secondly, sustainability. Are there adequate plans for the maintenance and long-term management of these facilities that we are putting in place? And thirdly, are these projects addressing real community needs and improving the quality of life of the people we represent?
Chairperson of the committee, Queensta Mami Pokia Soya, urged MMDCs to take flooding issues seriously and not wait until the rain set in before taking action.
The flooding issue has also become a huge issue for this committee now. You can see everybody is, and most of the places are flooded. I think we would have to take our sanitation to another level, and then there should be a communique for MMDCs to understand that should be a priority, not through the rainy season, but then through they would have to do a lot of work before the rain starts.
The MMDAs were further taxed to ensure that allocated funds are used for their intended purposes, with the committee expressing concern that the Disability Fund is often not given the attention it deserves.
A growing number of countries are moving to restrict children's access to social media, arguing that the online world is exposing young people to harmful content, cyberbullying and exploitation. Australia has already introduced a ban for under-16s, while other countries are considering similar measures. But as the debate gains momentum globally, should Ghana be having the same conversation? There is more in this report by Safwa Boahene.
This is a big step, real change for our children and our future. Because today I can announce that the government will ban access to social media for all children under the age of 16.
The announcement has reignited a global debate about how best to protect children online. The smartphone has become a constant companion to many, and even more dangerously to children. For some, it is a source of entertainment, and for others, learning. But experts warn it can also be a gateway to cyberbullying, harmful content, and unhealthy online habits. Now, governments around the world are stepping in. Australia has already restricted social media access for children under 16, while the United Kingdom has announced plans to introduce a similar ban, arguing that young people need greater protection online. As the global conversation gathers momentum, one question emerges. If such a proposal were put on the table in Ghana, would the public support it?
Good. Even me back it be or last Ediania man out me bedino. Maybe I know the spices are good. We will send the internet or social media.
Social media is beneficial, but it can also mislead children. My child once added spices to my oatmeal after seeing it on social media. That's why I support regulating it.
So, to say the other countries now, a bit me aboa.
Social media actually has both positive and negative outcomes, and I feel like the negative is more than the positive. Yes, because recently my little brother, his junior high school group, the students actually post certain videos which are not supposed to be posted in groups for kids. They are not appropriate for kids to watch. So I think social media isn't supposed to be open to the kids from 16 years and below.
For child rights advocate Bright Apia, the concern is not simply about children spending too much time online, but also about what they encounter while they are there.
The environment is not restricted, so children participate in and out, and they have access to
information that are also available to adults. So the usage of the information, we cannot determine whether they are using it appropriately or not. Then we also realize that when it comes to the screen time, children spend between 2 to 8 hours. You realize that there's a lot of sexual invitations that is thrown out there for children, and then also demand for pornographic materials from children.
He believes restrictions alone will not solve the problem.
In driving this kind of policy, we should not take away the role of parent to be able to also put restrictions on their phones, and if possible, not allow children to have access to the mobile phones. Because if you look at all the algorithms and then the AI that we have now, whatever you do with your phone, that trend will be there.
That raises another question. If Ghana were to regulate children's access to social media, what age would be appropriate?
The state must also be interested in investing in research and data protection to be able to have data, on some of the things that children have access to, how they use the information, how beneficial is that information to them. And for me, once we are able to do that, we can lay down the foundation to determine whether we want to restrict children from having access to information or we want to ban a particular age from having access to the social media. It's another discussion that we need to have to determine within the country which age is appropriate for children to have access to social media.
For now, Ghana has no nationwide social media age restriction beyond those set by individual platforms. But with countries from Australia to the United Kingdom and others moving towards tougher controls, the conversation is becoming harder to ignore. Whether the answer lies in a ban, stricter regulation, digital literacy education, or stronger parental supervision, one thing is becoming clear. The debate over children's access to social media is no longer happening somewhere else. It is a conversation Ghana may soon have to confront. Safa Bwaini, TV3 News, Accra.
In more news tonight, President John Mahama, and Africa's champion for reparative justice, has led the formation of 3 working panels as pillars of the next phase of reparative justice and provide strategic guidance for restitution. Ghana is again championing the next step of reparative justice after the United Nations declared it the gravest crime against humanity. Leaders from Africa and the Caribbean are pushing for a roadmap in a 2-day summit that will amount to Africa's bargaining chip. A report by Komla Kluche.
After the United Nations declaration, Ghana has activated work on seeing to a sustainable attainment of a goal dreamt over decades and centuries. A conference that has assembled heads of state, policymakers, academics, and diaspora representatives to discuss the next step in advancing reparations and addressing the long-term legacy of slavery. The Namibian government, having recently passed a law on genocide, apology, and reparations, and directed the government of Namibia to engage the German government that committed genocide in Namibia, says no other person can tell Africa's story than itself.
The damage was not only done to bodies and land, it was also done to destroy confidence, identity, and self-belief. Many of the physical chains have long been broken, but some of the mental chains remain.
A strong diaspora support is coming from Barbados that says it stands shoulder to shoulder with Africa.
And I ask us, therefore, let us not embark on separate journeys, but let us today reflect the unity of purpose, the recognition that whether it is through advocacy or advisory opinions or actions, our role is to ensure that there is no retreat from our requests and that we recognize that repair comes after recognition.
As the world's focus is on Ghana's leadership to spearhead this chapter, the President, John Mahama, is calling for a more inclusive global approach to reparatory justice, saying that recognition of historical justices must translate into sustained international action.
The stories remind us that reparatory justice must also be gender responsive.
The historical experiences of women and girls cannot remain footnotes in the global narrative. So any framework for truth-telling, memorialization, reparatory justice, or historical reckoning that fails to recognize the specific experience of women will remain incomplete.
Effectiveness, he opines, depends on widening participation among nations and institutions rather than limiting engagement to a narrow group of actors.
And so the progress we have made demonstrates what is possible when we act not in isolation but in partnership. And so the next phase of this work must be guided by the same spirit. As the African Union champion on reparations, I strongly support the decision of the African Union Assembly to establish an African-Caribbean joint mechanism on reparative justice. The crime we seek to address was transcontinental in its reach. Its consequences remain transcontinental in its impact. And the search for justice must therefore be transcontinental in its ambition.
He established 3 panels to achieve the feat: Global Advisory Panel on Reparative Justice, the Expert Panel on the Restitution of Cultural Artifacts, and the Global Legal Panel on Reparatory Justice, bringing together distinguished juries and legal scholars to explore legal pathways consistent with international law, human dignity, and justice. A communique is expected to be issued on the steps to a firm solution.
Unilever Ghana, through its Geisha soap brand, has celebrated the resilience, sacrifices and contributions of Ghanaian women at the grand finale of the Mama G campaign. The finale of the maiden edition brought together 10 selected women whose inspiring stories of care, strength and dedication were showcased to recognize the impact of women in society.
The My Mama G campaign by Geisha Soap was launched around this year's Mother's Day celebration as part of Geisha family and motherhood-centered marketing initiatives in Ghana. The campaign seeks to reinforce Unilever Ghana's commitment to celebrating the everyday Ghanaian mother who is caring, resilient and resourceful. The marketing manager for skin cleansing and skincare, Frederick Asari, indicated that Unilever Ghana introduced this new initiative to recognize women whose contributions often go unnoticed.
This year we chose to change our approach and to bring the voice of the women in the communities beyond just biological motherhood. We chose to celebrate these values in almost every woman who is in the community. This campaign is not exclusive to women in high authority, but to regular women in the community who exhibit these values day in and day out. And so this time around, we open it up to bring these values of these celebrated women to the forefront of motherhood.
The overall winner among the 10 selected finalists, Patience Abba, said Yana serves as motivation to continue her effort within her community.
Sheila, the one who nominated me, didn't tell me anything. So she just sent me the message that I have been nominated. And I was so shocked. My wish to other women out there is put a smile on somebody's face. No matter how little it is, it be appreciated.
Unilever Ghana says it is optimistic that My Mama G competition will continue to inspire women to embody the values that help structure lives and transform Ghanaian society.
Now, Coca-Cola has launched its global Feel It All campaign in Ghana with an electrifying watch party at Good Park, Accra Mall. Management says beyond celebrating football, the initiative highlights Coca-Cola's commitment to creating shared moments of connection, passion and national pride throughout the 2026 World Cup tournament.
The Feel It All campaign brought together supporters, influencers and members of the media for a lively watch party as the Black Stars took on Panama in their opening match of the World Cup tournament. Through interactive fun activities, live entertainment and match day experiences, Coca-Cola says they seek to deepen their connection with consumers while reinforcing its long-standing partnership with the world's biggest football event. Derek Bossman is the Senior Marketing Manager for the Equatorial Africa and Island market of Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola has been a long-standing partner of the FIFA World Cup, and today we are just telling all Ghanaians that we are providing a one-stop location for everybody to come and watch and enjoy every World Cup match, proudly sponsored by FIFA and the Coca-Cola company. Coca-Cola has been in Ghana for over 7 decades. And over the 7 decades, we've stood for one thing, which is always impacting the lives and people of our communities. So this, in a form, is also a way to encourage people that we are still here for them, irrespective of wherever they find themselves.
He mentioned that the initiative will not be in Accra alone, but across Ghana for everyone to get an experience.
So we also know that for this particular event, some of the matches are running late into the night. What we want to do as Coca-Cola is to provide security for all our fan zones. So irrespective of wherever you want to watch the match sponsored by Coca-Cola, if it's at Good Park, we will tell you for sure that there's going to be 24-hour security. So you don't need to worry about anything. Just come and enjoy and have fun.
For the finals on July 19, Coca-Cola says all football lovers and sport enthusiasts should brace themselves for an official concert as part of celebration to crown the 2026 World Cup tournament.
You're still watching News 360 on TV3. We have business, sports and entertainment coming right up. Do stay with us.
I love putting in charcoal. Why? When there are so many other...
around us is changing, not slowly, not quietly. In the north, the rains that once arrived on time don't come anymore. In the middle belt, rivers and forests disappearing overnight. Along the coast, the sea is swallowing land that families have called home for generations. Rising temperatures, failed harvests, homes lost to tides. This is not a warning about tomorrow. This is the world right now. TV3 and the German Embassy in Ghana, the conversation on climate, security implications in Ghana, the Climate Talks 2026. 5 cities, 5 conversations, 1 urgent call to action. Tamale, Bolgatanga, Kumasi, Keta, Accra, starting this June 2026. The Climate Talks are coming at this time. The people most affected by Ghana's climate security crisis will be at the center of it all. Because the time for Ghana to act is now. In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest
Let's do business now. And a new monitoring report by the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, has exposed serious implementation gaps, abandoned sites, and operational failures in infrastructure projects funded by Ghana's oil revenues. The inspection tracked state investment across the Eastern, Volta, and Oti regions. There's more in this report.
The statutory exercise monitored various infrastructural projects funded through the nation's petroleum revenues. While some initiatives are actively benefiting citizens, several finished facilities remain completely idle. In the Eastern region, a newly completed classroom block is sitting empty due to a massive bat invasion alongside a severe shortage of teachers. Meanwhile, a critical Agenda 111 hospital project in Tiase has been completely abandoned and a solar-powered water system has broken down. In the Oti region, market women are refusing to occupy newly constructed market stalls because they are too small, while administrative delays have forced local staff to work out of half-finished staff bungalows. In the Volta region, a police post at the busy Aplau border is restricted to daytime operations only because it lacks electricity, water, and basic ventilation. In response, PIAC is demanding urgent coordination between contractors and local authorities to ensure petroleum revenues are not wasted on non-functional projects.
In more business news this evening, in a major move to modernize the microfinance sector, the Bank of Ghana has begun converting rural banks into community banks. A policy, finance and tax analyst, Nelson Kujo Kwagbaji, says this will pull the country's massive informal sector into the official banking system and drastically deepen financial inclusion.
The Bank of Ghana's rollout of its community bank transition is designed to capture the nation's vast informal economy and accelerate financial inclusion.
It is actually aimed at strengthening financial inclusion and bringing on board the informal sector, which still remains outside the official banking system. The Bank of Ghana is just repositioning the community banks to reflect modern banking practices and, of course, deepen financial inclusion, considering the fact that these community banks are actually closer to the people and they actually finance the SMEs within the economy.
Under the Central Bank's revised Microfinance Sector Framework 2026, these newly designated community banks face a steep climb in their regulatory capital, with a minimum capital requirement raised to 5 million cedis, up from the previous 1 million cedis.
I believe this is aimed at improving the liquidity of the community banks and also helps in strengthening their balance sheet. Well, on the whole, I think that we need to commend the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Isiama, for his innovative ideas within the banking sector. I think his policies are yielding the desired result by way of resilient financial sector that can support the various economic actors within the country.
Under the directive, all existing rural banks are required to complete statutory name changes, corporate rebranding and other regulatory adjustments by December 2026. The conversion comes as the rural banking sector marks 50 years since its establishment in 1976 to promote financial access in underserved communities.
Blue Whale Construction and Industrial Limited has officially broken ground on its flagship development dubbed the Labadi Beach Apartments. Management says the 18-story mixed-use project is set to redefine luxury coastal living in Accra, reposition it as Ghana's premium ocean view residential and investment destination.
The Labadi Beach Apartment is being delivered through a strategic partnership between Blue Whale Construction and Industrial Limited, China Railway Construction Corporation, and China Railway Construction Engineering Group. Located just minutes from the Atlantic coastline near Labadi Beach, the project brings together global partners and premium amenities. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony, the country manager for the company, Nathaniel Alpha, explained the vision behind the project.
We are going to create about 500 employment building Labadi Beach Apartment. Labadi Beach Apartment is 18-story with one level basement. First and second floor is for commercial purposes, where we invite our Ghanaian brands to come and showcase their product at a very less fee. From the 13th to the 16th floor is the apartment. Each floor has about 14 unit apartments. And then we have a rooftop ocean view bar and a restaurant.
Head of Business Development for China Railway Construction Engineering Group, West Africa, said the project has been designed to serve both the lifestyle and investment market and is expected to be completed within 2 years.
The China Railway, actually we attach the most importance to the quality, to the safety, and to this building. So we have the full capacity and the firm confidence that we will deliver a very good job in the next after 2 years. So if you want to invest a house, or if you want to improve your own living conditions, you can come to us.
The ceremony was attended by traditional leaders, representatives of the Ladadi Kotopon Municipal Assembly, a delegation from the Mankralo Traditional Council, government officials, members of the security services, business partners, investors, and other key stakeholders.
Let's find out how the forex and commodities markets are performing at close of day today. Stay with us. We have sport and entertainment coming up.
us is changing, not slowly, not quietly. In the north, the rains that once arrived on time don't come anymore. In the middle belt, rivers and forests disappearing overnight. Along the coast, the sea is swallowing land that families have called home for generations. Rising temperatures, failed harvests, homes lost to tides. This is not a warning about tomorrow. This is the world right now. TV3 and the German embassy in Ghana. The conversation on climate security implications in Ghana. The Climate Talks 2026. 5 cities, 5 conversations, 1 urgent call to action. Tamale, Bolgatanga, Kumasi, Keta, Accra. Starting this June 2026. The climate talks are coming, and this time, the people most affected by Ghana's climate security crisis will be at the center of it all. Because the time for Ghana to act is now. In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard and perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abnanya Kwasmini, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Around us is changing, not slowly, not quietly. In the north, the rains that once arrived on time don't come anymore. In the middle belt, rivers and forests disappearing overnight. Along the coast, the sea is swallowing land that families have called home for generations. Rising temperatures, failed harvests, homes lost to tides. This is not a warning about tomorrow. This is the world right now. TV3 and the German embassy in Ghana. The conversation on climate security implications in Ghana. The Climate Talks 2026. 5 cities, 5 conversations, 1 urgent call to action. Tamale, Bolgatanga, Kumasi, Keta, Accra. Starting this June 2026. The climate talks are coming, and this time, the people most affected by Ghana's climate security crisis will be at the center of it all. Because the time for Ghana to act is now. In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard and perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abnanya Kwasmini, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, First in News.
The world around us is changing, not slowly, not quietly. In the north, the rains that once arrived on time don't come anymore. In the middle belt, rivers and forests disappearing overnight. Along the coast, the sea is swallowing land that families have called home for generations. Rising temperatures, failed harvests, homes lost to tides. This is not a warning about tomorrow. This is the world right now. TV3 and the German Embassy in Ghana. The conversation on climate security implications in Ghana. The Climate Talks 2026. 5 cities, 5 conversations, 1 urgent call to action. Tamale, Bolgatanga, Kumasi, Keta, Accra, starting this June 2026. The climate talks are coming, and this time, the people most affected by Ghana's climate security crisis will be at the center of it all. Because the time for Ghana to act is now. In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us, and honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard and perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abnanya Kwasmini, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, First in News. Is changing, not slowly, not quietly. In the north, the rains that once arrived on time don't come anymore. In the middle belt, rivers and forests disappearing overnight. Along the coast, the sea is swallowing land that families have called home for generations. Rising temperatures, failed harvests, homes lost to tides. This is not a warning about tomorrow. This is the world right now. TV3 and
by GTP Lifestyle and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil. Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, as excitement continues to build across Ghana following the Black Stars' impressive performance, actor and content creator Jeffrey Norte has called on Ghanaians to show love to the team and encouragement and prayers as well as they pursue success on the international stage.
The Black Stars' victory has reignited hope among supporters who have continued to rally behind the national team despite recent criticism. Social media platforms were flooded with congratulatory messages while celebrations broke out across various parts of the country as Ghanaians savored the memorable triumph. Speaking to 3 Entertainment's Naftali Ba, Jeffrey Norte encouraged fans to continue showing the team love, support and prayers as they strive for greater success on the international stage.
We love Black Stars. Make body lie you. Anyone standing anywhere, sitting anywhere saying that, oh, these people, so that it's a lie. We've got mad love for them. But moving forward, let's just give them our love and support and prayers. They're professionals. They should be there and do their thing. And we are hoping that we'll smile.
He also praised the strong sense of
News segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
Thank you, Noella, for the latest Noel of Entertainment. And that's it for the package. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu Date.
And I am Portia Gabo. Good evening.